Well, guys, it is now time for my Week 6 picks of the 2025 NFL season. As last week, I went 5-9. Oh my God, everything, even the Sunday night, Monday night games went against me big time. My first losing season this year, and it hurt really badly. Anyways, here is the playoff stands and the regular season stands at the season end of the day. In the AFC, it's the Colts with the bye, with Patriots at Bills, Broncos at Steelers, and Jaguars at Chargers. And the NFC, it's the Eagles with the bye, with Vikings at 49ers, Seahawks at Buccaneers, and Packers at Lions. And my Super Bowl prediction right now is the Lions over the Bills. Alright, so that's the stands right now. So now let's get to my Week 6 picks. As we're going to start off with an NFC East matchup, as it's the Eagles at the Giants. The Eagles won the last two. The Giants haven't beaten them since 2023. The Eagles suffered their first loss of the year to the Broncos that they choked away, plus bad penalties and such, and no calls either a lot of times as well. So that sucks for them. Meanwhile, the Giants, they were beating the Saints at first, but then they completely imploded in the fourth quarter, as Jackson Dart looked like shit in the fourth quarter as well after having such a good start and such. But yeah, good luck against the Eagles. I'm going to go pick them, of course. And then we get to the Sunday games. Sure, I'm going to be salty not watching a bunch of them because I have to freaking work. Anyways, starting off with the Broncos at the Jets in London. As this is the second year in a row they face each other. The Broncos won the last one. The Jets haven't beaten them since 2023. And they haven't won at home against the Broncos since 2018. As the Jets are trying to avoid 0-6 for the first time since 2020. As they are the only winless team remaining. The Broncos had a big come-from-behind victory over the Eagles, which really jump-started their season. Just think, they would be 5-0 right now if one thing went differently against their games against the Colts and Chargers. That's quite amazing just to think about, as they are now looking really good stat-wise. Meanwhile, the Jets, yeah, they suck, as we all know, as they got destroyed by the Cowboys. What else is there really to say? I'm picking the Broncos, obviously, for this one. Alright, then it's a big outer conference matchup, as it's the Seahawks at the Jaguars for the first time since 2017, as the Seahawks won the last one. The Jaguars haven't beaten them since 2017, and the Seahawks haven't won in Jacksonville since 2000. So the Seahawks had a high-flying, high-scoring game against the Buccaneers, and Sam Darnold looked really good throwing 4 touchdowns. Gee, if only I was able to watch that game if I wasn't at work. So yeah. Hard-fought loss for them, though. That was a really impressive victory. Jaguars, meanwhile. Oh, man! What an incredible game that was against the Chiefs on Monday night. Even though I missed almost the entire first half because I was working, but I got to see the second half at least. What an impressive victory. Getting that pick 6 on Mahomes, and that final drive, they sealed the game. That was a huge statement win for them, and my view of them massively went up after that impressive performance. This will be a very interesting game, to say the least. But you know what? I'm going to actually give some faith to them, and I'm going to pick the Jaguars for this one, after that impressive game. Then it's the Chargers at the Dolphins for the first time since 2020, as the Dolphins won the last one. The Chargers haven't beaten them since 2022, and they haven't won on Miami since 2019. So the Chargers, of course, they're starting to fall off a bit now after that 3-0 start, as they got spanked by the Commanders, as Justin Herbert once again had another terrible game and such. Meanwhile, the Dolphins, they had a 17-0 lead on the Panthers, and looked like they were going to run away with it, and then they imploded and let the Panthers somehow pull off the victory in the end. Not looking good for Dolphins whatsoever, with one of the league's worst defense, and yeah, I'm going to pick the Chargers for this one. Then it's the Rams at the Ravens for the first time since 2023, as the Ravens won the last one. The Rams haven't beaten them since 2021, and I was about to say the Ravens haven't won at home against them since 2015, but that's actually incorrect. So there we go. The Rams had a hard-fought game against the 49ers on Thursday night, and they just blew it in the end with the fumbles and such. Just a hard-fought game, but just couldn't get the job done. Meanwhile, the Ravens, okay, now I think it's time to say the Ravens are in deep trouble right now. Even last week, even with Lamar not playing, I still thought they were going to beat the Texans, and they ended up being completely and utterly destroyed. 44-10, C.J. Stroud had the best game of the season, and the Ravens have the worst defense in the league, and everything is going against them. And so far, last I heard, Lamar still hasn't been in practice. It's not looking good. He might not play this week. But to be honest, even if he does play, I don't trust the Ravens at all right now, so I'm going to pick the Rams for this one. And then it's the Cardinals at the Colts for the first time since 2017. The Colts won the last one. The Cardinals haven't beaten them since 2017. And the Colts haven't won home against the Cardinals since 2005. So the Cardinals... Oh Oh my god, the only reason I didn't react as strongly in this game because, again, I was working at the time, so I didn't get to see how bad it was till after I got home. So let's see, the Cardinals had a big lead, and then they somehow, just like the Colts the previous week, had a big play, would have went for a touchdown after ball carrier, didn't fumble it out of bounds before going for the touchdown. Have you all not learned from Deshaun Jackson already? God. So that was a touchdown blown. And the Titans, I think, got a touchdown or score off it too, so a point swing. And then they had, oh my god, that stupid play. The interception, fumble, and then the Titans pick up for a touchdown. Another massive swing. So instead of winning like 28-6, they ended up losing 22-21. They basically allowed the Colts, not the Colts, the Titans to do what the Panthers almost did to them in week 2. Absolutely embarrassing. Rich Gannon even got fined $1,000 for hitting the running back who fumbled that ball away and having a meltdown with him. Yeah, the Cardinals are in a complete joke and a mess that was on this 2-game losing streak. Colts, meanwhile, opposite case. Their stunning season so far continues as they completely obliterated the Raiders offensively and defensively. Although their defense looks a little weak compared to the last few weeks of the season, their offense, however, is one of the best in the league, and obviously I'm going to pick the Colts for this one. Then it's the Cowboys at the Panthers for the 3rd year in a row, as the Cowboys won the last 3. The Panthers haven't beaten them since 2018. As the Cowboys destroyed the Jets, as they look like one of the best offenses in the league, as they're back at 500. Meanwhile, the Panthers, again, the Panthers is really weird as shit. First, they got destroyed by the Jaguars. Then they almost made the comeback against the Cardinals. Then they shut out the Falcons. Then they got destroyed by the Patriots. And then they were getting destroyed by the Dolphins before they made this incredible comeback. Like, it's just wild. I don't know what to say about the Panthers. They're not really good. Bryce Young isn't really good, and yet they're still somehow winning. They're a very weird team this year. But I'm going to pick the Cowboys for this one. And then it's the Patriots at the Saints for the first time since 2017, as the Saints won the last 2. The Patriots haven't beaten them since 2017, and the Saints haven't won at home against them since 2009. As the Patriots, just like the Jaguars, had a huge statement win on Sunday night when they beat the Bills to give them their first loss and the last team to have a loss. Not to be undefeated this year. Huge win for the Patriots. My view of them massively went up, and I'm so happy that I was right to view them as a contender this year for a playoff spot. They're playing really good right now. Meanwhile, the Saints finally got their first win of the year after the Giants completely imploded in the 4th quarter, as they got really lucky there. It's a very big game, though, for Saints. They really need this win, and the Patriots need this win, because if they win and the Bills lose the Falcons, the Patriots will lead the AFC East, so this is a huge game for the Patriots. But I'm going to pick the Patriots for this one, obviously. Then it's the Browns at the Steelers, as the Steelers won the last one. The Browns haven't beaten them since 2024. They haven't won in Pittsburgh since 2003. So the Browns, of course, they played the Vikings in London, and they actually put up a good game. Garrett, whatever his name was, the quarterback, he actually had a good game, but in the end, they still couldn't beat the Vikings. That was a blown opportunity. They really did need that victory right there. And they played well enough to deserve it, but again, just couldn't get the job done. Thank you, defense, for letting the Vikings score that last touchdown at the end of the game. You didn't even do your job. Meanwhile, the Steelers, of course, they came off their bye after they played the Vikings in Ireland, and they put up a good fight and such. Impressive performance. Their stats look terrible, but remember, that's inflated because of the bye and such. They're a lot better. And their defense is a lot worse than their stats indicate. But yeah, I'm picking the Steelers for this one. Then we get to the 4 p.m. games, starting off with the Tank Bowl. The Titans at the Raiders for the first time since 2019. As the Titans won the last 2, the Raiders haven't beaten them since 2017. And they haven't won at home against the Titans since 2004. As the Titans, they got their first win of the year, but let's be fair, they should not have won that game. They only won that game because the Cardinals were idiots and don't know how to play football. An undeserved victory. Meanwhile, the Raiders got completely destroyed by the Colts. So what else to do? Oh man, this is a tough one. The Titans might objectively be like one of the worst teams statistically in the league right now, other than maybe the Bengals. And the Raiders, nothing's going right for them. They suck too. Even though stat-wise they look a lot better than the Titans. This is a tough one to pick, honestly. Neither of them have really a strong case to pick one or the other. I think I'll pick the Raiders, but I'm not confident that. If the Titans win, I won't be surprised. Alright, then we get to a huge NFC matchup as it's the 49ers at the Buccaneers for the second year in a row. The 49ers won the last four, the Buccaneers haven't beaten them since 2018. As the 49ers got a huge win against the Rams, they really needed that, although they're still banged up in injuries. As once again, Mac Jones is starting, and he got injured too in the game before coming back. Also, I gotta point out, quarterback controversy in San Francisco, since Mac Jones is actually looking good, whereas Brock Purdy hasn't looked good at all so far this year. Just saying. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers had a huge, incredible victory against the Seahawks, and they need every bit of it. And yes, I'm still very salty I didn't get to watch it. And I guess, and I'm not going to probably be able to watch this game either, which is going to make me very angry. But yeah, this is a very huge game for them. And I'm going to put my faith in the Buccaneers to get this one done. I'm still not fully sold on them with their close games, but I trust 49ers are just as guilty. So I think I'll pick the Buccaneers because I trust their offense more. Then it's the Bengals at the Packers for the first time since 2017, as the Packers won the last two. The Bengals haven't beaten them since 2013. They haven't won at home. Won in Green Bay since 2009. As the Bengals, once again, look like the worst team in the league as they got spanked by the Lions. But hey, at least they didn't get completely blown out at the end. As Browning had 3 touchdowns at the end to make his stats look better. Meanwhile, the Packers are off their bye after they just played the Cowboys 2 weeks ago, and they had that stupid complete meltdown on the final drive when they didn't do a timeout or they didn't show any urgency to take the snap, and they almost lost it, and they settled with a tie instead of maybe, honestly, I would have maybe considered maybe going for it if they get the win instead of tying, because that could come back to bite them later on. But yes, obviously, I'm going to pick the Packers for this one. Then we get to Sunday night, which is a huge matchup despite the record, as the two best teams record-wise last year, the Lions at the Chiefs for the first time since 2023. The Lions won the last one, the Chiefs haven't beaten them since 2019, and haven't won at home against the Lions since 2015 in London. So the Lions, of course, spanked the Bengals, although the score looks a little bit closer at the end, but we know the reality of the Lions obliterated them, as they look like the best team in the NFC. Up there's like one of the best teams in the league, although their defense still is a little sussy. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, they put up a good fight against the Jaguars, but of course the Jaguars showed up and actually pulled off, I think, the upset victory to give the Chiefs back under 500, as Mahomes had that terrible, awful pick 6 that cost them the game there. So yeah, Mahomes cost the Chiefs there big time. Although their offense is playing a lot better the last few weeks, their defense is not as much. The Lions should not underestimate the Chiefs. They could be a tough fight, but I'm going to pick the Lions for this one, of course. And then we get to Monday night. Of course, I hate it. 2 Monday night games near the same time with each other. You know I hate this very much. Hopefully I'm not going to be working on Monday so I can actually watch the games. Anyways, start off with the Bills at the Falcons for the first time since 2017. As the Bills won the last 2, the Falcons haven't beaten them since 2013. And haven't won at home against the Bills since 2009. So the Bills, of course, lost to the Patriots as they had an ugly game with all the fumbles. Josh Allen didn't play so good. They still have one of the best offense in the league, but their defense definitely is taking a beating. Meanwhile, the Falcons are playing first time off their bye after they put up a good fight against the Commanders, remember, and got the victory there. Their stats, of course, are inflated because they're bye. But either way, I'm going to, of course, pick the Bills for this one. But I will warn the Bills, watch out for the Falcons' defense. It's been pretty good. Even I know their stats are inflated because of the bye, but don't take that defense seriously. They could maybe make an upset on you. And then we get to a big NFC matchup, as it's a rematch from the Miracle in Maryland, or whatever it was called, as it's the Bears at the Commanders for the third year in a row, as the Commanders won the last one. The Bears haven't beaten them since the Thursday night game they had in 2023. So the Bears came off their bye, where they won, but the team they beat's not coming to my head now for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it'll come back later on. Meanwhile, the Commanders, of course, spanked the Chargers in a very impressive victory. That really helped their season. I thought they were going to lose that going into the year, but they got a needed victory. So far, the Commanders, other than the Chargers game, has gone exactly how I thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year. So winning an extra game that I didn't think they were going to do, that helps out a lot. And also, Jane Daniels is back, which is very good. But yeah, I'm going to pick the Commanders for this one, obviously. Alright, so those are my picks for Week 6, as I was doing a quick check on the schedule. Because yeah, I still don't remember who the Bears got their second win on at the moment, which is very weird. Anyways, I cannot wait for Eagles at Giants night. So my picks are the Eagles over the Giants, the Broncos over the Jets, the Jaguars over the Seahawks, the Chargers over the Dolphins, the Rams over the Ravens, the Colts over the Cardinals, the Cowboys over the Panthers, the Patriots over the Saints, the Steelers over the Browns, the Raiders. Oh, it was the Raiders the Bears beat. There we go. The Raiders over the Titans, the Buccaneers over the 49ers, the Packers over the Bengals, the Lions over the Chiefs, the Bills over the Falcons, and the Commanders over the Bears. All right, so those are my picks, and see you all next week for my Week 7 picks.